series by ISA. We're also excited to have you here for one of the last times. And obviously, you guys are going to be moving to Blacksburg soon. So, a brief introduction of what our organization is with the Indian Students Association at Virginia Tech. We're a network of more than 850 students at PT, which include both alumni, current students, and obviously incoming students like you. And every year, we almost have around 250 more students coming from India. And overall, we're more than 1,000 students over various parts of the US. So it's a great opportunity to be a part of such a large community. These are our panel members for today. I am Archie. I'm the Vice President Internal, and I'll be walking you through some of the things. And then we also have Lakshya, who is our President. The agenda for today's webinar is mainly setting up in Blacksburg and how to pay off fees to VT. Just a second. Yeah. So setting up in Blacksburg, there's a lot of things that you need to do right as soon as you come in because it's your first time. Even if it's not your first time, it's your first time being in the US for such a long period and as more than just a tourist. So we'll be exploring all of these things, which is buying a SIM card, opening a bank account in the US, getting your OGP, getting your social security number, and also exploring campus. So firstly, purchasing your SIM card. Before you buy a SIM card, please consider some of these things. Do you want a prepaid or a postpaid plan? Explore all the plans that are available to you. And there are also many carriers that we have also listed. Make sure that if you have family in the US, it might be more economical for you to join their family plan itself. Or you can also find students in the WhatsApp group and you can create a family together, which also might be more economical for you. Some of the carriers that are recommended in the US and also very famous and mostly used are US Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, US Cellular, Visible. All of these are really good carriers and it's obviously very easy to get these. Just
One thing to add on.
Go
So
ahead.
basically, postpaid plans require you to have an SSN. So do keep in mind when you're going ahead with postpaid plans. And most of all, like even family plans, they're part of postpaid plans. So just keep that in mind while you're looking at getting a SIM card. It's better to go prepaid initially, like first month or something if you don't have an SSN, which is very likely in this scenario. Yeah.
Another thing about purchasing your SIM card, I think I should add, is places where you can get your SIM card. You can get your SIM card at airports. You can get your SIM card at places like Best Buy, Target, Walmart. You can also get them at their specific like carrier places. So I'm pretty sure there's a T-Mobile and Verizon place at Christiansburg itself. If that is something you prefer, then a checking account. So you can open a both checking and savings account in the US. More popular banks in Blacksburg are Wells Fargo, Truist. Some people have Chase, but I don't think there's a Chase place in Blacksburg, so that is a minus point there. There's also local banks in Blacksburg. Other than that, for a checking account, there is a minimum age to open, which is 17 or older, and I'm sure most of you past that age. You'll get a debit card once you open your checkings account, and it's very easy to use it in the US. Most places have tap or swipe, and there's a monthly service fee of $10, and it may vary with bank to bank, but a lot of the times banks go past this service fee if you're a student. So me personally, I have a account with Wells Fargo and I don't pay any monthly fee because I'm a student. And another thing to make sure is for each fee period, you need to have a $500 minimum daily balance. And also you have to be between 70 to 24 as basically a student. And one thing to note is that in India, a savings account has a debit card, but in US, only checking account has a debit card. In US, a savings account is more of like an FD in India where you put your money in and you can get interest on it. but you don't use your money that way. You have to first transfer it to your checkings account and then you can use that money. So there's a way to save savings account, which is a Wells Fargo thing, and you can open it with your checking account, and you can choose automatic savings option, which will fit your needs best. This savings account has a monthly service fee of $5, and you can obviously avoid this which each of the following, which is either a $300 minimum daily balance. To open this, you have to be 18 or older, and there are obviously some other requirements that you have to make sure to know more about these. We would suggest going to the bank's online website, and you cannot apply online as a student. Please make sure to note that. You will have to come in, you'll have to fix an appointment online, and you'll have to come in and then go for your appointment. A good thing would be to start book your appointment way ahead, because like when August starts, generally Wells Fargo has no appointments available. So if you book that later, you might not be able to get an appointment on your preferred date. And there is also a minimum opening deposit of $25. Now, getting your Hoki basically, our Hoki passport is our student ID card, and it works on everything on campus. It is required that you have it on campus. It will help you a lot. So, the Hoki office is in the Student Services building, right on the first floor. It's very easy to find. You'll have to fill out an ID request cards, which you can see on the right side of the screen. Once you fill that and you give it to whoever's the person working there, they will give you your ID, but make sure that you have your passport or a US driver's license so you can validate yourself. And there is no charge for the first Hoki to be issued, but replacement IDs do cost $25. So make sure that you don't lose it. If, however, it ever becomes like the condition becomes bad, you can go and replace it with a new card, but you'll have to present your old card. So make sure you don't lose it if you don't want to waste that $25. One more thing, your Hoki is basically like you use it for your meal plans, you use it to enter your dorm, which a lot of the freshmen will be using. So make sure that you don't lose it. It is an important thing. You can also use your debit card for dining halls, by the way, but this works is like the OKP works is everything basically, and it's to pay and stuff. So yeah. Now getting your SSN, you'll have to apply for your SSN in person at the nearest Social Security Administration office. The nearest office for just a second. The nearest office for Blacksburg is in Roanoke. It's very accessible. If you take the Smart May bus to Roanoke, it's like a 10-15 minute walk from there. It's not very far. And when you're applying for your SSN, need to bring your passport, your I-94 card, and an offer letter from university or dining services, whichever, like wherever you're working from. And if you want to opt for any other SSA offices, you can check that out on the SSA website. A social security number is pretty important in the US, so it would be beneficial to get one as soon as you come, but you don't need to be employed for that. So just make sure you make the right decisions. Exploring campus, there are a lot of very beautiful stops at campus. And just to let you guys know, we'll also be having a campus tour when you guys are on campus in person. So I think you guys should definitely come for that. It's a good way to learn where you can go, how you can go. These are some of the places that are extremely beautiful on campus. The Squire Student Center, which used to be the hub for all buses previously, but now obviously the bus system will be a little bit different when you guys come. We'll make sure to include that in our campus tour as well. You have the pylons in War Memorial Chapel. It's one of the very iconic spots in Blacksburg, and it has a very perfect sunset view. Then there's the Moss Art Center. The Moss Art Center is right near Squires, and it has different galleries and exhibitions from time to time. The drill field is the very iconic field in smack dab in the middle of campus, and it connects the academic and residential area, and you'll be crossing it almost every day, and there's so many paths you can take. It's actually a lot of fun. Lakshya, you can take
Um,
it.
yeah. So paying your tuition fee. So I have seen a lot of queries going on in the group. So this is pretty like pretty much a good way to get to know the different ways you can go about paying your fees and how to go about if you're going for a loan or a transfer from a bank, anything like that. You can even pay from a Hoki wallet via mail. There's budget tuition plan as well, which I'll let you know about. So basically, if you want to pay via Hoki Wallet, it's like a financial hub for parents and families where VT students can add their parents and families or like use the students like credentials to log in. And you can add authorized payers and stuff like that to so that they can view the bill when it's generated, like they're informed directly and they can pay from there. And like the student's intervention is not really required if they want them to be set up like that. So everything I'm just talking about like Hoki Wallet, e-bills, everything like that is accessible through Hoki Spa. So Hoki Spa is pretty much a central hub for almost everything. You will do your Q&A ad drop and then course ad drop and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff there in Hoki Spa that you can view the transcripts, grades, everything is there in Hoki Spa. So yeah. Then so what you do is go to the Hoki wallet. Like basically when you go to Hoki Spa, there's a search option. So you can search for Hoki wallet and then click on view e-bill. And then over there, they will ask you to choose a payment option as like custom payment amount or whatever. There are several options, so you can go through it. And then you can also add money to your Hoki Passport. So Hoki Passport, so there are like two kinds of money that you will be adding in your Hoki P, which is like so there's one flex dollars, dining dollars, which is part of your dining plans that you'll purchase. And it's mandatory for all first year students to purchase one. There's major, mega, and one other one which I'm forgetting. But yeah,
Yeah.
and Hokipi is the laundry money, more or less. That's what majorly used for. You can use that for printing at the Newman Library if you need to print out anything. So you can use your Hokipi money for that. Then there's vending machines all over the campus, almost everywhere. So over there as well. So those are like the three major places that you'll be using your Hokipi money, like Hokipa. So, and you can add a lot to it as well, like through cards or whatever, like bank account transfer, whatever, credit card, you can add it through that and then pay your fees. It's again up to you what's convenient for you. So, and Hokipi money is different than Flex dollars. They're never the same, and you cannot use your Flex dollars for Hokipi stuff or your Hokipi, but you can use your Hokipi stuff for Flex for paying at dining halls, if that makes sense. Then moving forward, then we have paying. So while you pay for Hoki from Hoki Wallet, there's like two ways to pay, like using Flywire and CashNet. So Flywire is basically an international payment setup system that is set up by VT and almost all universities over the US, where you can directly transfer the money to the university. So I'll be giving a step-by-step breakdown as well after this on how to use Flywire. So it's pretty simple and straightforward, but it's always better to have a step-by-step guide, isn't it? So so at times there's like banks don't want to go through the hassle of Flywire or whatever. I have seen that myself. So if you want to make a direct transfer for to the university, uh, to the university's bank account due to like maybe the new laws of like the TDS laws and all of that, then you can contact the bursar's office at bursar@vt.edu and you can explain them that your bank needs to do a direct transfer to the university bank account for so and so reason. And you can ask them to provide the university bank details. And they usually take a little bit of time to like give the direct bank account details, but they might give it based on your situation. So yeah, it's if you get lucky, you'll get the bank account details. But try not to share it with anyone because otherwise then there comes some kind of issues. You might face some issues, you never know. So it's better to just keep them with you if they send it to you. So transacting with CashNet. So CashNet is basically Bursar setup. Bursar has set up this payment system where you can view your e-bills, the statements, and you can make your tuition fee payments through that. So you about the monthly installments, that's the budget tuition plan, which I'll talk about in the end. And if you can make a payment through credit card and debit card, like you can use international cards for that. Like in the zip code part, you just put N/A, which stands for not applicable if you're using an international card, which could be a Forex card or a credit card or anything. And if you're using a US based card, then you have to put in the postal code or zip code for the particular address that has been set into that card. And then there is about adding a bank account. So you can just add a US domestic bank account. So do not try adding your Indian account because like it won't work. It just won't work. So it's just useless to waste your time on that. Is the bank account method is just for US domestic transfers, and it's more or less auto debit. There's an option for that as well. So you can use this link, which will be shared after the webinar in the slides itself. So you can use that link to know more about how everything works. If nothing is clear, or just ask me or Archie or any one of the ISA members. And about Flywire, how it works. So basically, you just enter the university name. That's if you go through like Flywire's original website. There is also a way in HockeySpa to access Flywire. Just search international payments or something or Flywire, and you can access directly the university's Flywire page. And then you put in the amount that you need to pay, like 21,000, 5,000. I don't know. Like it goes to the university, so it's basically the fees payment. So you put that amount, you put the country that you are paying from, which is more or less India. Uh, if it's India, if it's through going through India, which is possible. And then you select the payment method. So some they have set up for some net banking. Some of them they have for some banks they have bank transfer services. So you select that option, or there's credit or debit option as well. So you can go ahead with that. And then you enter your payer information, which is more or less one they ask from what I've seen. And once you have entered your payer information, like they will ask you for your PAN card details as well if it's above 7 lakhs or something like that. I'm not sure about that, but that's something to keep in mind. And then you put in your payment information, like what's the payment mode of payment, your student ID, which is the one that starts from 90. Do not enter your email address is initial part. That's not your student ID. It will be the number starting from 90 and your name, date of birth, and your student email address, which is the VT1. And then you can just put in your payment details. Like if you selected card, then you can enter the card details. If you selected bank transfer, they'll ask you for they'll give you bank transfer details. And yeah, so you will have all these methods to pay your bill through Flywire. And they will, if it's through bank transfer, they will give you a PDF with Flywire's bank account details, which are unique to you. So it's not the same for everyone. It will be unique. And you can download a copy of these instructions as a PDF and then move forward. And everything can be tracked. All your payments can be tracked through your email or by logging into Flywire. And for credit card and debit card payments, it's like straightforward, however you go about it. Normal Amazon or whatever. It's the same way. And for net banking online payments, then it will redirect you to log in with your net banking credentials and then move with the further process that they have given. As I mentioned, if you want to make a direct transfer to the university, contact the bursar and they will provide you with the bank account details in most scenarios, but sometimes they might deny it. So Flywire is the other way to go. There's also a way to pay by mail, which is like physical mail, I'm saying. So you print a PDF version of your e-bill and make a check payable to treasurer of Virginia Tech and write your Virginia Tech account number on your check and enclose it in a bottom portion of the printed e-bill. But this is only for checks which are like from US bank accounts. This is not for Indian checks that you can send. So do keep that in mind. And you mail it to this address, which is Student Services Building, Suite 150 and 800 Washington Street, Southwest. Then budget tuition plan. So budget tuition plan is a way to pay your fees monthly during the semester. So what it happens for that, you need a US bank account. You cannot do that with credit cards or debit cards or anything like that. You need a domestic bank account, US domestic bank account, and there's $45 per semester fees, which is non-refundable. So even if you pay once the $45, then they will not refund you back if you just want to go ahead with like normal payment, like you pay the full thing. And if so it can be combined with financial aid, loans, or scholarships. So it's up to you how you manage everything, like how you pay. And they will show you that these dates, it will automatically deduct from your account the amount, this particular amount, depends upon how they have divided the 4 monthly installment payments, because a semester is basically 4 months. So yeah, so this can be anything can be paid from Flywire, or the budget tuition plan is your tuition fees and the other fees that are required by a course, your dining and housing. And the dining and housing is if you're doing the on-campus dining and housing. And then our housing forms are still open. So if you're finding a roommate, do use these forms and it'll definitely help you. Then there are travel forms. Most of you have started traveling already. Some are yet to travel. So just see if you need someone that is traveling on the same flight as you. There are possibilities. So just look at it. Just go through the forms, and you might find someone going the same route as you. And Student Maricopa Family Finder. So this is our new form that we have started to help you guys find a family. So a family in the sense, basically Student Maricopa's family discounts. The discount is like if you are 20 people or more in a family, then there is a $60 Amazon gift card per person, and so on. There's like something like that. Uh, um, so yeah. That's it. And we are still recruiting. So do apply if you're interested. You get leadership experience through ISA and LOR if your performance is great. You get to network, you get to have personal and professional development, and best of all, friendship and fun. That's always there with ISA. So do join with at ISA and you'll have a lot of fun, that's for sure. I can You can even ask our current members and previous members of ISA and they'll let you know the same. And yes, if you have any feedback about this webinar, do scan the QR code. Most of our links are there on our link tree, and our packing list is there on our website. So if you need help with what to pack or you're confused, do go to the ISA website and that'll help you. There are some important email IDs given there, the link for Handshake, and do follow us on our Instagram. So because we have something coming up day after tomorrow, which is a Q&A session specifically for you. So we are going to put up a question box, question sticker thing on Instagram, and you can drop in your questions and we'll be replying to all of your questions on the stories. So do follow us on Instagram, VT_ISA. Same goes with Facebook, and join our Fall 2024 group, WhatsApp group if you haven't already. And now I'll open the doors to Q&A session.
To begin answering some of the ones on chat, what payment methods do students using education loans prefer? It completely depends on what bank you have gotten your loan with or how you've gotten your loan, like what they might prefer. So it's something that you have to contact them about. And do you need to be employed for a social security number? Yes, you need an I-9 to get your social security number, which is something you receive after being employed. For SIM cards, honestly, all carriers have really good connectivity in Blacksburg. I use Mint Mobile. I have not faced any issues as such with it. So I think you can go for any you want, depending on your budget, depending on what you might prefer. So yeah.
Okay, one thing, guys, put your questions in the Q&A section because it'll be hard for us to manage two different places. So just put in your questions at the Q&A and we'll answer from there. I'll just close the chat as well. So yeah.
Continuing, what is an I-94 card? An I-94 is something you get after you enter into the US. It is a document that you have to get and also upload on Hockey Spa. So after you enter the US, you can go on their website, enter your details, and there will be information about your entry, like port of entry, date of entry, stuff like that. So that is basically what an I-94 card is.
It's not really a card. It's
Yeah.
basically a PDF file that will be generated from the US's website, giving a departure and when you arrived and all sort of that details. So yeah. As you previously mentioned, that bus services are free in Blacksburg. Do we need the student ID? So BT Transit does not require a student ID. It's free for everyone. And Smartway bus, for Smartway bus, you do need a student ID. That's from Roanoke to Blacksburg. So that's there. So do keep that in mind. So Smartway bus is the one that you will need the student ID for. Otherwise, you can just travel without one. But it's always better to have, if you have a student ID, it's always better to have your student ID while you're traveling, as you never know where you might get a student discount and you might need that card. Uh, for budget plans, once you give permission to pay from an account, can that account be changed mid-semester to? Yes, so you can change that account. So for that, what you'll have to do is like you add the new account and then you remove the old, tell them that there's an option to change the account that you want to pay from and move ahead accordingly. So it's all done within the CashNet portal. So everything is linked to that. For direct uh, bank transfer from India bank, please mention to chat. So contact the bursar that you want their direct bank account details that, and you cannot use Flywire for whatever reason. Uh, so their email address is bursar@vt.edu, and they'll most probably provide you with the bank account details if they find your reason valid.
One more thing with that, for direct bank transfer from an Indian account, that can also be done through Flywire. So if that is something that you want to go, like that is something completely available. You can transfer both INR and USD that way. Options for you.
So there are a lot of ways to pay, and there's just very little information. I'll say that. So if you need any clarity, just contact any one of us while you're paying, and we might be able to help you as much as we can. Is there a requirement for an A2 LRS form to make payments? I made a payment to VT, but nowhere did it ask for me a. I'm not sure what A2 LRS is. Sahil, Archie, any idea?
So as far as I know, it is wait, I just searched it as a liberalized remittance scheme. I'm not sure what exactly the form is. I have not faced a place where I have to get this form or anything. It could be something that the bank does directly for me. But if this is something that you want to know about, I would suggest contacting your bank or maybe your CA, and they might have more information.
Yeah, because even I do direct bank transfers and I have never had to fill this form or anything. So yeah.
Again, for
For
budget
but
tuition plan, your relative can definitely do that. As we said, there's a process for changing your bank account details for budget tuition plan. So just go through that and it's the same process.
yeah, you'll just need just let them know that it will be an auto debit. It's nothing that you will have to initiate. Once you give them your bank account details, they will just at the due date. If it's a Friday, then it will be deducted on a Monday. So just keep that in mind. But it's every month that it will keep deducting. So, and make sure if you are planning to change it, you do change it and remove the old bank account so that there are no other transfers happening from that other account, just in case. Just to clarify, so yes, you do need to be employed to get an SSN, and for setting up an account, like a bank account, it's not required that you need an SSN. You can update it later. You can just go to the bank branch and they'll update it for you. And for an SIM card is only needed if you're going for a postpaid plan. So most people go for a prepaid plan initially so that you don't have to use an SSN. If you're definitely planning to go for postpaid, then you will need an SSN. So it's better to get just a prepaid initially and then switch to postpaid. So yeah.
For your I-94, you just need to go on the website, fill in your passport details, and I think your visa number, I'm not sure, but that's it. There is no application or anything. And then you can generate your I-94. It's a pretty simple process. So yeah.
Yeah, it's basically wait, I'll just share the link. Uh type. So this is the link for I-94. Just click on that and click on get most recent I-94. You only get your I-94 once you have traveled to the US. It's you cannot get it before that. So yeah. Will there be any problem if I enter the US from Georgia? It shouldn't be. You might they might question you why you're entering from Georgia, but it shouldn't be a big issue. They might just ask you why are you coming from Georgia or whatever. It's a maybe.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
especially because there is no, like the nearest airport to Blacksburg is also in Washington, which is Dulles. So they generally have no issue with students entering from wherever, as long as you're obviously entering only 1 month before your visa starts and not before that. That's the only.
yeah. I have an education loan from Nationalized Bank, and they mentioned that the funds will be dispersed directly to the university. Yes, so just mention to just mail bursar at vt.edu and say that you have an education loan which they will directly disperse to the university bank account, and they should be able to provide you with the details. And Archie has put up the link for bursar's email, so just go on that and mail them. What are laptop suggestions for masters and CS students? Sahil, Sahil, are you there?
Yeah, laptop suggestions, uh, it's pretty subjective, but if you ask me, like if you are known to Apple devices, I would say even a MacBook Air would work for your entire college. And for Windows, I think anything beyond i5 and above is enough because these days laptops are getting better and better. So I think any budget laptop would also go for college life unless you are doing something which requires heavy computing or maybe like machine learning models and stuff. In those cases, you might need to check for good configurations for Windows. But I think if you're looking for a MacBook, I think even the base model Air will suit your needs.
Okay, so if I apply for Empower, would there be any additional work or is it just fine? There won't be any additional work, I believe. Although you can mail Utkarsh or I'll just get his email. Give me like 5 minutes to find his email. So I'll give you Utkarsh's email. You mail him that. But in my knowledge, there's no issue in such as such. You just apply for a regular loan through them, and yeah, pretty much. I'll just get his email in a meanwhile.
For bus transport facility from Roanoke to Blacksburg, on Sundays there's only one bus that goes, which is at 10. So that's the only time that you can take the bus. The only other option is Uber, which tends to become expensive. So maybe try planning your flight around this or your journey to Roanoke around this. and make sure you have a bus that you can take afterwards. And what are some of the apps? There is only one app related to Blacksburg Transit. It's called Blacksburg Transit. I'm not sure if you'll be able to download it while you're in India though. So make
You can
sure.
if you change the region of your app.
Okay.
You change the region of your Play Store, App Store.
So that's
And
all
I
you need
think
to do.
it's not even region restricted. If in From what I remember, I had the app while in India in
Yeah.
Indian region as well.
It's just
So you can
Blacksburg
try.
Transit. It's also their website, rightbt.org. Those are the two things you need. However, campus isn't starting the new campus shuttle. Even I'm not sure if there's an app for that or something. So I think that is
It's the
something
same app.
is the
I
same
think
app.
There's no other
is
app for that. Just an extra
it's just
bus.
a yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
the health immunization form, it does take a little while for them to process it. And if something is still under review, I would just suggest waiting because course registration is still a little far, like August 5th, there's still some time. I would suggest if you don't get it by, say, 25th or 27th, then you can try emailing them that saying, hey, my course registration is still under review. Can you speed up the process or something?
Mm, Nine 9 credits every semester to maintain. Yeah, you need to have at least 9 credits to maintain your F1 visa status. That is like a mandatory thing. And also, I think in that it's mandatory to take 6 offline credits as well among those 9 credits.
okay.
Mhm.
Uh,
How much TDS is deducted if you're using our own funds to pay the fee, and what's the best way to do the same to incur the least extra fee? So TDS and stuff, the best person to ask is your bank or your CA because those are values that cannot be calculated by us students. Like at least I don't have that much information on me. And if you want the most accurate details on how to save or anything,
Act-
CA
It's
or whatever.
actually, it's actually a fixed percentage, which I don't remember exactly, but it's
I
I
think
think
actually
it's
it's
about 5 or 2%.
25% for education purpose, but there's a different way to access it and stuff like that.
I think if you have
So
loans, it becomes 0.5%, and
yeah,
you might have to fill a form for that. Even I'm not exactly sure. But if you don't have a loan, it is a fixed 5% that I don't really think you can avoid. The only way would be
5% was before, but now it's 20 or something like that, from what I remember. TDS on
this
remittance.
is something contacting your bank.
Yeah, it's 20%. From 5%, it has increased to 20% for international remittance. So yeah. Do I
Yes,
need to pay the fees? Yeah, I mean, basically 12th August is the deadline, so
but I
up
think
to
it's
you.
not, yeah, like it's just the deadline that is important. It's not like if you are in the US or not, the deadline
Yeah.
is more.
and I mean, you can check the bursar's office. As far as I remember, last year they had an extension for first time coming international students, so it became September 1st for us. So you can contact the bursar's office for that, and there might be an extension for you.
Yeah. FAFSA is basically free application for federal student aid. So that's basically for local students with US citizenship. It's nothing for international students. VT does not provide any scholarships, at least for undergraduate programs for international students. Your department might. So yeah, FAFSA is nothing for international students. FAFSA or FERPA, yeah, either of those are not for international students.
Is Mac suggested more or Windows? Completely depends on what course you're doing, how much usage you will be doing with your laptop or your computer. And it's honestly more of a personal preference. I know a lot of engineering students who were told that Windows would be better, but they had Macs and that worked well, at least for the first year. It depends a lot about what you'll be using your laptop for. So just
If
research.
you're a general engineering student, the only reason why they will say general engineering undergraduate student, the only reason they'll say is you cannot use a Mac is because of SolidWorks. but you can always use Parallels, or they have started a new service with AWS. So yeah, that's just for one application and one particular course that you'll need Windows for. Otherwise, if you have a Mac, that's completely fine. Because I myself had a Mac uh for my engineering 1216 course where I used to have SolidWorks, and I was pretty much fine with it because I was using Parallels. So yeah, our postpaid family plans for SIM cards generally cheaper than uh so that's basically I'm using a AT&T yearly plan, which is $25 a month, and I have to pay 300 for the whole year. That's a prepaid plan with unlimited data. So sometimes you might get cheaper, sometimes you might not. Depends upon the service and what they're providing. So you'll have to compare and go through it.
Also, postpaid works a lot on how much you might use it. So just make sure if you're getting a post,
Yeah.
that's something.
Are there merit-based scholarships for Indian international students in VT or any? So, I mean, there are departmental scholarships, but nothing as such that is offered by VT. Like for international students, in general, there is no scholarship, but you can contact your department, such as if you're a CS student, contact your CS department, and they can let you know if there's a merit-based scholarship over there, and they might be able to help you with that.
There's also a website where you can see what all merit-based scholarships are available, and you can also see if that is for international students or not. Like for example, for undergraduate architecture, we have what we call first year or second year competitions every year, and the winners of those get a scholarship, like $1,000, $2,000, something like that. So that would be the best way for you to find scholarships as an international student. It is
About yeah, go ahead.
it's completely safe to travel in Blacksburg in the night. Blacksburg is a very small town. There is no crime or anything as such. And I have myself just, it's very safe. There's nothing to worry about in that way, very honestly. And if you're worried about something at all, in Blacksburg, if you're on campus, you have something called Safe Ride. And if you feel uncomfortable at any point, you can call them and they can come pick you up and drop you off as long as it's
It's
within.
not necessary that you have to be on campus for that. You can just give them a call and they can pick you up from somewhere within Blacksburg as well. So yeah. And it's pretty much peaceful at night and there's VTPT patrolling all times, so you're pretty much safe. Are there any specified bus stations for buses to VT or so if you're talking about BT Transit, so there is a new central hub where all the buses will be there in which where all the buses will stop at. Before it used to be squares. So yes, but there are like it's bus stations is like basically how buses work in India. They have a central hub, which is a bus station, and then they have bus stops where you can at certain bus stops you can just come and go. It's like a very it's the same thing basically
It's very streamlined.
as
Once you land
Yeah.
there
yeah.
and start using it, you'll get to know it maybe in a day or two.
It's very accessible
Yeah.
and easy to understand.
The only thing you might get confused is in the bus stop names. That's the only part you may get confused in. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to navigate throughout Blacksburg with PT Transit.
For your
Regarding,
feeble, this increase might be because your housing situation or dining situation might be added on later. And I think the best way would be to check what this increase is, would be to go and view the full statement and see what was not in the first statement and what was. I'm sure it's not something wrong or something. It must be an increase which was required otherwise.
yeah, there could be like departmental fees being added, or mostly if it's like around 8,000 increase, it's definitely from, not definitely, but it's most likely to be from your housing and dining plans on campus.
Mint Mobile, yes, I use Mint Mobile. I have not found any situation where I didn't have network, other than say if I'm very deep inside a building or at a basement of a building. And honestly, on campus, you have a network everywhere, like Wi-Fi. So it becomes very simple. And Mint Mobile works well enough. It's a budget thing. So yeah.
I would say Mint Mobile is good for the first 3, 4 months. After that, if you face any issues, then go ahead with something else. Otherwise, just keep using Mint Mobile. It's really that way. Could we take a
Uh,
reduced course load in the final semester? And yes, there's an option to apply for reduced course load. So you can apply for that through International Hookies portal where you have applied for your I-20, but that's only there in your final semester. So discuss with your academic advisor before applying for one so that you are like well aware of how everything is going to work out. But yes, you can.
For someone who can help you lift stuff up to the second floor, there is a service called Pokey Movers. It's not anything endorsed by the university, but an independent thing. And you can text them on Insta, and they're pretty quick to respond. They can help you with getting your movers who can not only lift your stuff but also help you in anything else you might need. They can be a tad bit expensive. I can tell you the price right now. Like the price I know, it is $55 per mover who's coming to help you per hour. So it is a pricey service, no doubt. But if like you definitely need help, that can be a good option. Or you can also always just ask on the Snapchat, like the weekly Snapchat stuff, if there is someone who's willing to help you and you can pay them say 20, $30. People might just say, yeah, I don't mind. So
Or you can ask your roommates. Is there any option that we can collect laptop from the college for education purpose after semester? So, for semester lease, yes, you can, but that's for engineering students only. It's through SWAT, but that is only if you have a damaged laptop. That's only there. That's only available at that point. Otherwise, there is technologies libraries at Torgerson Bridge. So they lend your laptop for a week, but you can keep renewing, but you have to like go to them, like renew the laptop. Like what basically happens in that case is after a week you have a due date. So you go to them, you either you book the same laptop and you just tell them that this is the same laptop. You go to the Torgerson Bridge, this is the same laptop that I have booked before and I have rebooked it. They'll do whatever process that has to be done on their end and they'll give it back to you. Or sometimes the same laptop might not be available, so you will just need to uh you will like basically then need to change your laptop. And in that laptop, there's one issue is that if you shut down or restart your laptop, all your data is wiped. So you never shut down or restart that laptop of yours. And there's like all lap kind of laptops available, even there's GoPros and stuff like that available for free for all students at VT. But that's with a week's lease only. That's max.
for the
I've
difference
well,
between
yeah.
Um, see, for the first year for the first year in the US, you can only work on campus, and there is no other, like there's no way around it. You have to work on campus. Now CPT is something that you can get approved after your first year, and that is how you can go and work for internships and stuff in the summer or winter in the US itself. So the only thing is that CPT lasts the amount, like the amount of years you are doing that coursework, and it can only be done in your chosen field. So say if you're an engineering student, it has to be an internship somehow related to engineering. That is what CPT is. OPT is something that you get after you graduate or after you're done with your full coursework. It is an extension on your F1 visa, and again you have to apply for it with Cranwell. And your OPT can depend on what course you're taking. So it can be a 2 year OPT, a 3 year OPT, and you still have to do some things to maintain that OPT status. But if you're just coming into BT, OPT is not really something that
OPT is something
is
that once you graduate, then you get
yeah.
it. OPT, there's like it's a 1 year standard from what I know, and you get a 2 years extension if you're a STEM major student. So if you're a CS student, if you're a mechanical engineering or any kind of STEM course, then you get that extension. Otherwise, it's a standard 1 year uh, OPT. CPT is curricular practical training, which is like for your internships and stuff, and it has to be for minimum. You have to be in the university for 9 months, like something like that is the legal thing that they require you to have.
You do get an acknowledgement receipt, you get an email saying that your waiver is approved. And this is something that, like, there's no fixed timeline for when they might do this. It can range from 10 to 14 days, depending on what the rush
They
might
would
be at
have,
the
yeah, they would have given you a timeline that this is the timeline that we'll be approving it in, and you always get it between those timelines, unless and until there are some issues. So yeah. Can I work part-time as a freelancer on online platforms, or is working and earning capped and restricted through? So it's you cannot work as a freelancer. You can only work on campus during the semester, and later on, like it should be a fixed job. You cannot work as a freelancer and do any kind of a small business or hustle or something like that. You have to work on campus or off campus related to your degree. There's nothing else you can do while you're in the States as a F1 student.
what type of data plans should you get? It completely depends on how much you might be staying off campus, or if you're gonna need data off campus. I did survive with 5 GB data for quite some time, but then I did upgrade it to 15. So completely depends on your personal needs.
Best is get Mint Unlimited for the first 3 months because all three plans are the same price. And then depending upon your usage, you can check on the app and get a accordingly your plan that you will need later on. That's the best way. Hi, are there any plans to take health insurance for a month or two as a student will be covered under the parents' company insurance after that? I doubt the best person for that to ask would be student Medicover's representative, so they can help you answer that question. Uh, Archie, could you send the Q&A WhatsApp group link? You can put in your question in that, and one of the student Medicover representatives will answer that for you. Off-topic question, but do we have movie theaters in Blacksburg? Yes, there's PNB theaters that's there in Blacksburg. So yeah, there are no Hindi movies if you're looking for that. So that's a question that has been asked in a previous webinar.
But in
There's
Bollywood,
re
you will have to go
yeah,
ahead.
there's Regal as well, right, in Christiansburg?
Regal is in Christiansburg, but I don't think it has many Bollywood movie showings.
Yeah,
You mainly go to Roanoke for that. Roanoke also has a Regal, and I'm sure that not Pathan, Tiger 3 was played there. So there are Bollywood
yeah. There is
movies.
Lyrics Theater as well in the Blacksburg downtown, so that also plays movies. But again, you'll have to see which one is going on. Uh, what are the timings for BT Transit? So during the once the classes start, it's like 15 minutes every bus, like 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes there will be a bus at every bus stop, 15 to 17 minutes like approximate. And like Christiansburg bus, I think it's 30 minutes frequency, and I'm
Banana.
not sure about the campus shuttle. Yeah. And during weekdays, it becomes double. So the Christiansburg bus is 1 hour, every 1 hour, and within Blacksburg buses are every 30 minutes. Hey, I wanted to submit my photo at Hockey Passport, but when I try uploading, it is showing you're not authorized. I think that's probably because you're not logged into your VT account. Try logging in. Otherwise, mail Hockey Passport Services and they'll help you out with that if you still face the same issue. Supplemental engineering fee is a fee that is charged by the engineering department overall to all at least the undergraduate engineering students. I'm not sure about masters and PhD, but that's a flat fee charged to you per semester. And that's for all the stuff that you access through, let's say, Frit Lab or Ware Lab, anything of those sort. stuff, if you access, that's for free for you. So that's basically what the costs are covered for. So yeah, it's something that you cannot escape if you're an engineering student at BT. To make international to domestic connection is 3.5 hour time fine. Depends. I if it's a in within like if you don't have to go through the check-in process again, it should be fine because at times your one of your flights might get delayed like before the transit flight might get delayed. So yeah, if you don't have to manage your baggage, like you don't have to check in again, then it's pretty much fine. Or otherwise, if you're changing airports or like you have to check in your baggages, then that might be an issue. Can I trade in US stocks market with the US bank or as an international student? I doubt you can. Sahil, any idea about this? Archie?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I don't think you
Yeah,
can.
I don't think you can without an SSN. Like you need an SSN, but after that also there are some limitations or something is there that might stop you too. So the best person is ask Granville. Granville might be able to guide you on that because they will give you accurate information so that you don't violate your F1 status. I'll be coming to ID on 13th August by 8:30 a.m. in the bus to Blacks. Yes, you might make it if you just escape the flight fast enough, but you never know. So yeah, it's like always 3 hours. Like it's the best way to be safe, but yeah. I'm an off-campus student without a dining plan, but I noticed that my fees have increased. Could you please? Yeah, as you mentioned before about the increase from 10,000 to then it might be some departmental fees or something. Check the detailed version, what has been added. And if you still don't understand what has been added or changed, then mail Bursar. They'll help you out. So
Check your
yeah,
full statement, and in case you're a graduate, if it has something to do with GTA, GRA, I'm not a big expert on that. Just like look at what the statement says, and I'm sure you can get a better understanding of what is being added and what is being changed.
You can have vehicles here like car for like 6 months, but if you have an international driving permit along with you, the period extends up to an year.
You can
that's
also
depending
get
upon, yeah,
you
Yeah,
can also
also
go
get
ahead.
a US driver's license once you
yeah.
have your like it's a there's a DMV in Christiansburg, so it's easy to just go there. You can give your written test and then you can give your like driver's test, and you can also get a US driver's
Yeah,
license.
and if your Indian driver license is valid at that time, you don't even need to wait for the 2 month practicing period for after the learner's test that you gave. So there's like a 2 month practicing period that you have to wait for 2 months before you give the actual driving test. But if you have a valid Indian driver license, you can give the test then and there, like right after you give your written test. So yeah, and the written test is not very hard. I just gave mine as well, like last semester. So yeah, just study for it and you should be good. Does Virginia Tech provide any laptop related plans for students? What do you mean by laptop related plans?
If this has if you mean any discounts on laptops, the only thing would be that the Hoki bookstore sometimes has sales and stuff. So like recently they had a sale in different iPads and stuff. Other than that, laptop related plans. Oh, if you mean Microsoft bundles, that is something included in your software bundle. It is something
You
you have.
pay for it,
Yeah.
you pay for it and you have access for it until you graduate. After that, you're gone back to the free plan and then you look after it. Uh, yeah.
So the undergraduate bundle and engineering bundle, you have to see in your statement if it is already included, but it probably isn't included right now. But this is also something that you pay through the same process as your entire fees. if it's not included right now and you are playing through 5 hours, something you could do is pay a little extra right now, and then it will get remitted into your account as balance, and then you can use it to pay your software and engineering fee later. Um, for getting the latest recommended textbook for all the courses, uh, honestly, from what I've seen, most professors don't use the textbooks they recommend, and they are just a recommendation. And especially hard copies, I have never used the
If
hard.
if you're a big fan of hard copies, get them.
Yeah,
Otherwise, don't.
and
But
also,
sometimes they might like for Math 1225 and 1226 and stuff like that, they will ask you to buy the textbook, like an e-version, because a code comes with that you will need for the online homework portals that they use. So you might need that, but don't need to get a textbook until your professor says you to. There's option to just buy the code as well to see what your professor wants and go accordingly.
there's, if you do want hard copies without the code, there is a place called Bookholders in Blacksburg. So a very common book you might get is for freshmen for English 1105. You get it for like $1 or $3 within that. So that is a good way to get books.
You cannot bring textbooks from India. I doubt you will find the same ones. Like, see, every semester you'll have a new course. New course means new textbook. And textbooks, some professors require you to have, some don't. Some say that use my learning material, some don't. So it's really up to the professor. So it's better just that you wait for the professor for to say that you need to have a textbook or you need to get this code through e-Follett bookstore or whatever. And if they want you to have a hard copy but not the code, then you can also go to book holders, as Archie said, and just get it for $1 to $3 or something like that. Those are secondhand books and they're usually in pretty like decent condition for you to use, and then you can sell them back as well. Or there are people on Snapchat, so there's like Snapchat, Virginia Tech Snapchat thing going, where you put up stories, where people put up stories that ask this set textbook or this item for sale at this much price. You can even get it from them.
So
So
for
my
how much is
Yeah,
the Microsoft bundle? For undergraduates, it's $65. And I'm also putting up a link on how you can order this bundle and will be charged to your fees. Then,
uh yeah, about the international students applying for a state ID. If you don't want a driving license but want a state ID, the best way is just go to DMV because they handle both state ID and driver's license. But do note that if you get a state ID and then later you plan to get a driver's license, then you will have to surrender your state ID and then you get a driver's license. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you want one, if you want a state ID, there's no appointment required. You can go to the DMV at Christiansburg or Roanoke or anywhere that's near to you if you're traveling or whatever, and you can apply for a state ID over there. You will need some documents that they require you to have, such as your residency letter from VT housing if you're living on campus, or your lease, electricity bill if you're living off campus, and yeah, you will need two residency proofs, which one of them could be bank statement and other could be your lease or whatever. And yeah, you'll need some, and your Indian passport as well, you'll need. So to keep in mind that if you have all the documents and you can just go to a DNB and apply for it. How
uh,
do I take an appointment for Wells Fargo without an SSN? Uh, I'll just get the link. Wells Fargo
you
appointment.
don't need an SSN to make a Wells Fargo appointment. So it's the
Yeah,
same.
they will just ask you for a US number. Appointments. Make an appointment.
How do I register my home address in BB with the postal services? Uh, Depends what postal services you're talking about. So for VT, any documents, there's an option to change your address on Hokies by itself. That is something that you could do. If you mean with your bank, again, you can either do it on the app or you can go in person to the branch. And if there's anywhere else you're talking about registering your home address, just like ask and we can answer that.
Uh, I don't have a US number as of yet. Is there any workaround for that? If no, how do I get a number from? Just get a eSIM if you have a eSIM enabled device from Mint or anyone. They'll give you the eSIM like in 1 or 2 days, and you can just activate that and get your US number. You don't necessarily need to be in US for a US number.
Also, if you have
Uh,
relatives, you can just put their number in for right now, and you can always change that once you go.
Yeah, the appointment number does not necessarily need to be your number because that's just for like appointment reminders. Your number that will be linked to your bank account that you will be giving at the time of creation. It's not the same one that it's not necessary that it needs to be same one for appointment.
Uh, the,
The recording, yeah, go ahead.
the recording of this meeting is available, will be available on our Google Drive soon. All of the links are on our link tray, so you can go there. And just for saying, our link tree also has a bunch of other very useful links for you. If you guys want to go through it, it has stuff for all of our forms, for all of our social media platforms, for our sponsors. For example, for the student Medicover family plan, which I think is a very great thing where all of you guys can do. So yeah, do check out our link tree.
The best bank in Blacksburg, which is used in US throughout the US, Wells Fargo. That's the only bank available. That's mostly there throughout the US.
And I think even Wells Fargo's headquarters or like a very big quarters is also like close by in Roanoke. So if you guys want to go there, you can also go there, like your wish.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well, if you don't have any questions as of yet, we have another Q&A on our Instagram page, VT_ISA, to follow us. And we'll be putting up a story for Q&A on Monday. It will be according to Indian time, so it's easier for you guys. So we'll put it up in the morning and we'll start answering by later afternoon or something. So if you have any questions that come up by then, do put it on that, or you can ping us directly over WhatsApp or Insta. We are there to help, or even email. So yeah.
And also,
Oh,
otherwise, guys, please follow our social medias. It's a great way for you guys to learn more about our organization, our events and stuff. We're Facebook, Insta, WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp groups, you can get so much help there from other students, from us, from like even our sponsors, for example, the Q&A group. Then we're also recruiting, as you guys can see, if you want to join us. There's a lot of opportunity there. So please go ahead.
yeah.
One more question.
And yeah,
Is it
if it's a new laptop, then it's least likely that it'll be on sale. Like a new laptop means that is an Apple released a MacBook like a month or two back, like maybe in September, October. So it's least likely that it'll be coming on sale, but you might get $100 discount or something if you become their member, if you're going for Best Buy or other places. Otherwise, there's nothing really. If it's an old laptop like which was released like 5, 6 months ago or older, then there are definitely good discounts on that. So do keep in mind. Uh, trading your old laptop with trading your old laptop with Best Buy. If it's a US laptop, then you can. They don't trade international keyboard layouts laptops, something like that. I faced an issue, something related to that. So that's for Best Buy, I'm saying.
I
So
think we
trading in your
have
old,
to try, but
yeah.
it's a let's see type situation.
If you're talking about MacBook during Black Friday, if you're talking about like the last year release, you can either buy it from Apple directly, but you will not get any Black Friday discounts as such, but you will get a student discount, but I'm not sure about how much it is. And otherwise, Best Buy. There are like two places that you can buy it Best Buy or Apple. And if you're finding like, yeah, go ahead.
Best Buy is honestly a good place to buy your electronics, and I've been a member since last year. So they have a bunch of sales, not just during Black Friday, but throughout the year for other electronics and stuff as well. So even if you're not just a member, maybe creating an account might be helpful for you. So you can try that, yeah. Oh, Apple actually, I think, did have a Black Friday sale last year, but it was only on Apple watches.
Yeah,
So
it's not on laptops or anything like that.
yeah,
So
but I mean, you can get
they,
AirPods with a MacBook. So you can see where
the
you want to buy, honestly.
just if you want to look for Apple products, Apple's website, Best Buy, Walmart. You check these three places wherever you get the best price, just go for it.
You can also try VT Bookstore, although I'm not sure if they have the latest one
They
here.
have the same Apple discount from what I have
Oh,
seen,
okay.
except the Apple gift card that you might get through Apple through student discount. So apart from that, yes, pretty much the same discounts. Okay, so that's all for today's webinar. Thank you guys for joining. This was our last webinar, so it was pretty great to meet you guys. Hope to see you all on the campus tour and other events of ISA. Thank you.